Mary was the mother of God, mother of Jesus, and how her role changed and what that must have been like. And she was in on some of that traveling to see people start to listen to Jesus and accept that he was the Messiah. And what a difference that was, because in her own town, Nazareth, they were still circulating rumors about where, Joseph wasn't the father of the baby. And so they had looked down on her, no doubt. But I'll bet her triumph was when she came back and she came to Nazareth with Jesus and some of the disciples and the women. And I'd like to read you a little bit of what, is that okay? Okay. Of what she might have felt going back to Nazareth. And I'm reading it because just to give a taste also of what the land's like and to anchor in the details. I think that helps us get to the real people and the real land. Perched on a hill overlooking the Esdraelon plain, we watch travelers from Jerusalem, Egypt, colorful caravans as if from another world, pass on trade routes below. Tall firs guard the village, but allow us to cross into the valley between Nazareth and Cana, where clusters of yellow mustard seed and wildflowers gather. Amid twisted acacia and olive trees, a tiny flock of geese flies overhead in a V above us. They're honking, not unlike the shofar at temple. Every corner of Nazareth holds memory, though not all are good. We gather onlookers as Jesus leads us through the center of Nazareth, past the olive press to our home, where we are a tight fit. Our Lord honors us with his creativity at sunset, and we eat in the courtyard, the aroma of fish and spices floating in a winding trail of smoke. Afterward, Jesus and I walk around the village as Joseph and I loved doing so long ago. Now, Jesus, tomorrow in synagogue, you must stand tall when you read from the scroll, though you may sit to answer questions. Please do not cause an uproar by looking for someone to heal until we have left the synagogue. So she's witnessed lots of times where Jesus entered synagogues on a Sabbath and healed someone and gotten into big trouble for it. My son gazes at the harvested barley fields, then breathes in the sky. I have been to synagogue before, Mother. We exchange grins and the silence of the familiar as we walk home. So things had changed, and it looked like finally, she'd probably get one of the best seats in the synagogue instead of being shunned. And it was all going so well until Jesus told him that I'm fulfilling, I'm the Messiah, the one Isaiah was talking about. And like that, it changed. He was ushered out of the synagogue, and they wanted to throw him over the cliff. She was watching this. They were about to throw her son, the Son of God, over a cliff. And then he came out walking, and they had to leave Nazareth, and he couldn't do much there. And what a torment. She was at the crucifixion talking about torment and the agony of watching what they did to Christ at the crucifixion. I had to study crucifixions, and I can't imagine a more horrible way to put someone to death. It was so bad that the Romans were not allowed to put a Roman to death on a cross. That's how horrible it was, and yet Mary watched it. And Jesus, even through all of that, provided for her and said to John, who was the only one we know of the male disciples who was there at the cross, and said, John, from now on, this is your mother, and Mother John is your son. And he was looking out for her. And Salome was there also at the crucifixion. And what would it be like from going to asking that her sons have first and second place after Jesus in the kingdom, to having Jesus say, now John's mother is going to be Mary, my mother. and vice versa. And yet she stayed there, and she was right with them at the empty tomb and at the resurrection. So she's a changed woman also.